Good morning, children. How are you all? I hope you all are doing well. So today I'm going to teach you the different properties of air. But I thought every time I'm teaching you only from the book, isn't it becoming very boring? I feel it is becoming very boring. So I thought, why not try something else and different today? So for that, I'm going to make today's learning of chemistry very interesting and fun for you. How? You must be wondering how, children. So my answer is through the various experiments and activities. Now these experiments and activities will be fun to watch and you will not even know when you will learn the different properties of air. But for that, I need one assistance. And for that, I have already arranged somebody who is new for our channel, but she is very close to me. Let me introduce you to someone who is really very close to my heart. Why? Because she is no one else but my younger daughter, Kenisha. So let me introduce you all to my younger daughter, Kenisha. Come, Kenisha. So she is my sweet little daughter, Kenisha, and she will help me to make you understand the concepts of the video today. So are you excited for the video? We are very excited. Right, Kenisha?
Yes.
So let's get started. Without any further delay, we are going to learn properties of air. So let's start, children, with the first property of air, and that is air occupies space. Now how can we prove that air occupies space? Let's do something which is very interesting. Now this, as you all can see, I have a balloon in my hand. Now right now, children, there is no air filled in this balloon, right? You can see it is absolutely deflated, right? But the moment I'm going to blow in the air, when you're going to blow in the air, what will you see? The air inside will make the balloon expand, and that will show that air occupies space. Now, this can be proved with the experiment which I'm not going to do. My assistants will do for me. So, Kenisha, can you blow the air in the balloon, please?
Yes.
A deflated balloon without any air. A inflated balloon, a tiny one like my younger one. So, a inflated balloon, children, which shows that air occupies space. Yes or no? You can see the difference, children. What is there inside this? There is nothing, but there is a lot of air inside, which is again and again skipping out. It's moving out because I have not put a knot over here. So this shows, children, air occupies space. That's the first property. Are you ready for the second activity of ours?
Of course.
Okay, so she is ready. Are you ready to learn the second property of the air? So the second property of the air is, children, that air has weight. Now how will we prove that air has weight? Air can be seen all around us in a room, but you can't weigh it. So how can we prove that actually air has weight? So for that, children, this is my experiment over here. Now what have I done is, children, I have taken a scale and to that I am hanging two balloons. Now both of them have been increased and have been filled to the air that they look similar in size. Now if I hold my scale like this, children, you can see it is in equilibrium. Equilibrium means my scale is straight. It is not bending like this. Why? Because the weight of the air is similar in both the balloons. Now see, children, if we are going to prick one of the balloon, obviously all the air that is there inside the balloon is going to move out. And then what will happen? The scale will not remain in equilibrium. It will move to one side. So let's do. Kenisha, can you prick this balloon for me? Now see, children, this is how the scale has come into this condition. Why? Now because there is no air this side, so the weight of the air is negligible this side, and this side still the balloon is hanging with the air. So our scale got tilted, showing that air has weight. Third property, children, and the third property is air exerts pressure. Now in your books, children, there is an activity given that you can see. It's over here, children. Now in this activity, children, what they have done is, I'm going to explain you that first. Now in this activity, they have taken a container, and in that container some water is taken, and the cap of the container is fixed tightly, and then it is put on the gas stove so that the water inside starts boiling. When the water inside the can will boil, children, then the vapor will be formed, water vapor, which you call it as steam, that will be formed. And then what is done is, after some time, when you feel that all the water that is taken inside must have converted into water vapor, then we have to remove it from the flame, and we have to quickly cool this by pouring some cold water. As you will pour some cold water, you will see automatically it will get D-shaped. It will get crushed automatically. Now why has it got crushed, children? The reason is, all the air that was there inside was used up for converting the water into water vapor. So the container was filled with water vapor that was in the gaseous state. But when you pour the cold water from top, children, it condenses and it changes back into the liquid. So the pressure from outside, that is outside air, exerts so much pressure on the tin that it gets crushed. Now the same experiment I'm going to explain you and demonstrate with you in simple way. Let's see. Now look at this, children. I have taken a bottle. It's a small normal bottle that we have in our homes of cold drinks, and I have filled some water inside. I've also taken a glass bowl. Now the purpose of this is to show you that air exerts pressure equally in all the direction. Now when it has some holes over here, children, and then you are going to see something happening. Now it has holes over here, children. I have made some holes on the side as well as on the bottom. And when I invert it, you can see very little water is dripping down. Can you see? Very less water is dripping down, right? Because I have put a cap over here. Now the moment I am going to slowly open the cap, see what will happen. See? The moment I am going to put the cap, I am going to tighten the cap, the water is not moving down. But the moment I am going to open my cap a little, see the magic. 1, 2, 3 and go. Stop. So the bottle is actually, the water is stopping the moment I am putting a cap from top. Can you see that? You can do that activity at home also. It's a very interesting activity, and this is showing that how air is exerting pressure. Now the moment I am going to screw the cap tightly, children, all the air which is over here is not letting the water move down. But the moment I slowly open my cap, children, a lot of air is moving inside and it is exerting the water to move out of the bottle. So this shows that air exerts pressure. Coming to the last property, children, air can be compressed. Now we can also say that air can be compressed, and for that what has been done is, I'm showing you the figure, and with the figure I'm going to demonstrate how it can be done. Now for proving this, children, what has to be done is, you have to take a syringe. Syringe is the same thing with which we get the injections whenever we get sick and we go to the doctors. They bring a big syringe filled with the medicine. So we have to take the same syringe without the needle. And then you have to pull this part of the syringe, the back portion of the syringe, which is known as piston, children. You have to pull this, and when you pull the piston, children, you will see the piston will start moving down, and when it will move down, a lot of air will be filled over here. Okay, then once you have brought the piston till here, you have to close the mouth over here where the needle is put with the help of a rubber cork, and then you have to start pressing the piston back. As you will press the piston back, it will start coming closer and closer towards the neck area where the rubber cork is put. So it will start coming closer and closer. How? Now once we close the mouth with the rubber cork, children, that means whatever air is over here filled inside the syringe will not be allowed to move out. So what will happen? It will start getting compressed. The air molecules will start coming closer and closer. Why? Because they have a lot of intermolecular spaces. And then
to make it more easy, they have put a weight on the piston. That means you have put some weight which is pushing it more and more inside. It will keep pressing. It will come to a stage where, see, some intermolecular spaces can be seen, and over here the molecules have almost got stuck to each other. So after this, you will see, children, the piston will not move further inside. No matter how much you are trying, but the piston will not push further inside, proving that air has already been compressed as much as the space was available, showing that there is now least intermolecular spaces present between the air molecules. So this activity shows, children, that air can be compressed.
So children, after seeing today's video, I hope you have understood all the properties of air in detail properly, and you will remember them. You will not forget them. I'm sure of it. Will you forget them? No. So I need to thank even Kenisha for today's support. Because she supported me, I was able to teach you well. So thank you, Kenisha. Did you enjoy doing the activities? So she enjoyed, and did you enjoy, children, learning with me today? If yes, then you know what is to be done. You need to like, share, and do let us know how did you find today's video. So with that note, take care and bye-bye.